What's going on, Spurs fans? I am the masked SA Spurs Nation 87. So as you know, your San Antonio Spurs are NBA champions. And we are going to have a Spurs discussion. It's a real good friend of mine. He's all the way from Corpus Christi, Texas, and he is on Google Hangout with me. He's actually live with me right now. His name is Thomas, the Spurs Dude. What's going on,
everybody? What's going on, Spurs fans? TTSV coming at you live from Corpus Christi, and we're about to talk some Spurs basketball right now, Spurs Nation and I. So let's get it started.
All right, Thomas. Well, first off, you know the Spurs are NBA champions, so I want to know what are your feelings? Like, what are you feeling right now as the Spurs being the NBA champions right now?
Well, yeah, I'm going through a lot of emotions, as you can tell, but one of these is the emotion that Tim Duncan had. I mean, that was my emotion just watching the finals, and obviously, you know, how hard the Spurs worked to get back to where they were. You know, this team was talked about all year, how they weren't going to be able to make it again, and, you know, a lot of people doubted the Spurs as usual. But you got to remember that the San Antonio Spurs are one of the best professional sports teams in the world. And they have one of the greatest coaches in the world. They have the greatest GMs and scouts in the world. And I'm not just talking about basketball and NBA. I'm talking about just in plain sports. This has got to be one of the best, if not the number one sports franchise on the planet. You know, and they're a small market team. But when I saw what the Spurs did in the finals, obviously I was prepared to see, you know, and I knew that they were capable of winning another championship. In fact, I think both you and I expected that and nothing less. Even Tim Duncan said that this year we'll get it done this year. And you know, and the guys on the Spurs from training camp, from when it first started, when they had training camp at Colorado Springs, Colorado, Greg Popovich took the whole team up there, and from day one, you know, it was prepare ourselves to get back to the finals, and that's what the Spurs did. And obviously, you know, it's a lot of emotions when the Spurs finally won it this year, and you know, I was excited. But, you know, I just knew that they were going to do it. And, you know, this is a Spurs team that's proven year in and year out that they're very capable of getting to the NBA Finals every year. They're very capable. And, you know, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. But given the resources that the Spurs have and, you know, given the fact that they, you know how to manage their minutes so well throughout the year, you know, I mean, they're a smart team. They know how to execute. They know how to pass the ball with great ball movement. Their defense is spectacular. They got guys on the team that, you know, have certain roles like Boris Diaw, Patty Mills, you know, Kawhi Leonard, the Finals MVP. Once again, Kawhi Leonard proving to the world that his defensive capabilities, you know, and his ability to score with the ball was going to pay dividends, and he did just that in the finals. And once Pop told Kawhi, you know, to play more aggressively, you know, we saw that from Kawhi Leonard, and he did a great job of that. And, you know, I saw everything, you know, that the Spurs did this year in the finals. Everything that I expected, they did it, and they even did it in 5 games. And, you know, this is a series I thought for sure was going to go 7, but the Spurs ended it in 5. And to think how they did this, they broke records, they shattered records. I mean, the most points ever combined in finals history. I mean, the way they did it with just traditional ball movement, you know, no glamour, no nothing fancy. The Spurs just get it done. They're a well-oiled machine, and everyone proved this year that, hey, they're the champions for a reason. It's not by luck. It's not by chance. Whenever you see a team like the Spurs do things, you know, over and over again, you know, from one season to the next season, it's not just because, you know, it's, you know, like I said, it's not luck or anything. It's that because they're able to be consistent and they're able to get themselves and put themselves in those situations. That's why they're successful. That's why, they're able to get back to that point. But, I'm just, very happy. I'm still smiling over it, and it's still sinking in. And as you can see, I got the Spurs gear on.
Oh, hell yeah.
And repping with the Spurs fans that are actually watching this video. I want to share these books that I've got from the Express News. So if any guys want these books, they're available online at the Express News store online. It's a very beautiful book. It got a lot of nice things in it. There's a picture of Kawhi Leonard. I mean, there's so many things in this book, and it's a must-have for any Spurs fan. And I live all the way in Corpus, so 2 hours away from San Antonio. And the things I do for the Spurs, the things that I know about the Spurs, I mean, I do it because I'm puro. I'm puro diehard.
Yeah, Thomas, I mean, it may have taken 7 years to get back to this point for them to win their championship again, but you know what? I mean, it's worth it because, I mean, I know they've had the right puzzles, but I mean, some of the puzzles that the Spurs had, honestly, at times probably didn't even match too well because either they weren't really adjusting to the system or they just weren't really trying hard. Now, the one guy who I really wish the Spurs could have kept was Roger Mason. Because if you go back to the 2008-2009 season, I mean, he was mainly hitting he won some of the games for the Spurs because, he drained, like 3-point game winning shots, and then that one shot that I still can't get over that he made when he got fouled by Derek Fisher and then ended up making that free throw and they won that game. That I still cannot get over that game, and but you know what? Out of all 5 championships, I think this Spurs team has to be one of the deepest Spurs teams. I think, in my opinion, in history, because if had Patty Mills played last season in the NBA Finals, I mean the Spurs they could have won, but Pop chose to stick with Gary Neal because. For one, Patty Mills was, he was still a little bit out of shape, and Pop didn't think, I honestly think Pop didn't think that he was ready to play him yet until when he was actually ready to play. But then this season, they let go of DeJuan Blair, and they let go of Gary Neal, and then they signed Jeff Ayers and Marco Bellinelli, and you know what? And I even told everyone, and I know we talked about this last year, I mean, I knew Marco Bellinelli was going to make somewhat of an impact this season because this dude can actually play defense better than what Gary Neal can, and he's a much more fantastic 3-point shooter than Gary Neal. He's almost like Mac Miller. I mean, he's one of those dudes you can't leave open, and that's what I'm saying. And not only that, he's the 3-point NBA. He's not only just the 3-point NBA champion. He's now an NBA champion. He's the first Italian to be a 3-point champion and NBA champion. And you know what? Congrats to him. Because, I mean, he damn well deserved it. I mean, I know he didn't do much in the NBA Finals, but you know what? The littlest of points that he scored or the rebounds that he grabbed or any kind of passing that he did helped it really helped the Spurs out. But I really thought it was going to go 7 games as well with this rematch from last year because, and and I know that the Heat are not better than the Spurs because think about it. If the Heat were better than the Spurs, why is it that they couldn't finish him in less than 7 games? Because the Spurs took them all the way to 7 games. And the Spurs could have won it, but you know what? They didn't win it. I mean, it happened, but you know what? What made this finals the best is because they got themselves back into gear. And I know they had a sloppy start this season. I know you know that they had a sloppy start this season. Was somebody creeping on you or what?
No.
No, but I know the Spurs had a sloppy start. I mean, Tim Duncan wasn't doing too well, and Danny Green was still off his game, because I know he still wasn't, shooting or he wasn't playing well. Because I know they still have that taste, that really bad taste in their mouth, but they finally got rid of it,
Yeah.
And